Headlines today's Pratibha Raman joins us live from Bangalore. The future junkets are being banned now. That's what the Chief Minister has promised. But what about the expense made on the junket that these MLAs have just returned from? Is there any intention at all to try and recover the cost of that trip from these people?
Well, the same question was posed, Padmaja, to Mr. Yavagal there, who was the chairman of this particular committee, and he did say that if at all we are proved wrong, if at all people think that what we did was exactly out of the context of the constitution and the legal framework of the state as well as the country, then we would give back the taxpayers' money. So this is what he has promised. But how far is that going to be implemented is again another question mark. We'll have to wait and see. Once the CM comes back, there could be an inquiry that will be held for those who went to these junkets. What kind of study did they actually do there, and what kind of report are they going to really submit? All this is going to be looked upon, and at the same time the future junkets will also be stalled for a while until the grievous issues of the state will actually be sorted out, because there are so many issues right from, in fact, this particular tour is actually to study about infrastructure and development, but what kind of infrastructure do we actually see in the city? So these are the questions that are being raised by many Bangaloreans as well as people across the state.
Absolutely. So if you have drought problems in Karnataka, apparently studying the forest, the tropical forest in Rio is going to help solve that problem. We wonder how. Let us try and put that question to a few of our viewers who've now called in. Lakshmanan joins us from Chennai. Lakshmanan, what do you think?
This junket tour is unnecessary. These netas, they don't know even for India Gulf. They have not told India. I don't know what they are going to do touring foreign countries, and what they are going to learn. The point number one is these netas should be stripped of their MLA post. Number one. Number two, expenses incurred on account of this should be recovered from the party concerned. They have no business to like this. They should not waste taxpayers' money like this.
All right, Mr. Lakshmanan, thank you so much for calling in. In fact, that question that you raised, I will try and put it to the chairman of this entire study group that had gone from Karnataka, Mr. B.R. Yavagal. He's joining us live now from Bangalore. Mr. Yavagal, if you want to study problems that afflict your state, how about going to other parts of the country within India where similar problems are noticed? After all, we have almost the same climate across the country.
Yes, madam, your question I do appreciate, but this committee has done its duty for during the last 4 months, travelling across the state and visiting so many districts and conducting a meeting and proposing. We have also already submitted the interim report that we have done, and we are allowed to travel in the country for 2 times in a 5 years period. And secondly, we are also allowed to travel abroad to find out the issues regarding such subjects where we are put as a membership chamber there.
Sir, exactly what subjects?
It's in pardon, it's maybe it's a very wide subject. Backward class and minorities.
In
it's
Rio?
The welfare of both the sections of the society. Yes, right, it is here. But it's a very wide subject, wide issue, wide department.
Sir, I'm sorry, there's a problem with my understanding, but backward class and minorities, how is that subject being studied in Rio, in South America?
Madam, we have not gone to South America. We have gone to Australia, New Zealand and Fiji.
I'm sorry, in Australia.
Yes.
In Australia, New Zealand and Fiji, exactly how was that subject studied there?
Yes. We too were, while going before to that country, we were in the impression that there are no so economically, socially, in all respect, backward people are there. We were all of the impression, understanding that it is almost a developed and highly forward country.
Okay.
Both New Zealand and Australia. And when we tried, we inquired and found out, visited so many places, we found out that there are people even suffering because of this inequality practice in there, and when some welfare programs which were to be given. In spite of that, there is a section of society is also again backward.
Okay, so inequality in society, that's the big takeaway from that trip. Mr. Yavagal, if you could just bear with me for another minute. There is a viewer of Headlines Today who maybe would like to ask you a question. Rajneesh now joins us. Rajneesh, go ahead. What are your thoughts or your questions?
Yeah, my question is, I think this is brazen shamelessness which has found a new synonym. I think from what I have seen and what I have understood, I think shamelessness has a new synonym now. In my opinion, if you really want to send somebody on one such study junket, why not send specialists who have got the intellectual bandwidth to go and understand problems and bring back the learning? Why send people who are completely out of the context? I mean, you don't send anybody to study health. You don't send anybody to study a drought problem. You need to send specialists. And now that so much of money has already been splurged, I think the nation wants to know from these people, on a public forum, what is the learning, what is the valuable learning that they have brought from abroad over and above the fun and the nice pictures that we have seen on the TV. I mean, that I would, as a taxpayer and as a conscious citizen, I would definitely like to see.
All right, Mr. Yavagal, would you like to take that question? 3 key takeaways from this study trip.
I am of the understanding that the gentleman who has posed question is a highly intellectual man. I am not so as he is. But are we, because of we are not very humble background, got elected from the people, we should be treated something in a different second class way, we should not be allowed. I just can't understand what is the logic behind that. And we get elected directly from the people, and though the intellectual, the ruling class, elite, everybody is trying to advise and handle this country for such a long period, I don't know why the country is so still backward. So it's
no, Mr. Yavagal, you're actually deflecting from the question. 3 key takeaways, if you could just answer that, gentleman. And there's no attempt whatsoever to run you down. You're an honourable member of the Legislative Assembly.
It's a onslaught against the representatives, public representatives. He said something shamelessly, that way, this way. Is it all these people go along with so many dignitaries? They do also have the same understanding of the situation.
So that may be an outcome of the anger that the people are feeling right now. But maybe you could silence him by giving your 3 key takeaways from the trip. Maybe you could prove him wrong, that it wasn't fun and games. You came back with very valuable learning.
No, yes. I will try to put it like this way. There may not be any similarity between all these countries and all, but your horizon of thinking will definitely improve. It need not be always the subject that we study here or interested with. If you go and see outside, you say that the country should develop and gallop and go along with the fast pace that is when the world is developing. Okay. If you don't educate the political class, where else they will get knowledge about it? About the world, we have gone there to see the country. Along with that, we have studied, we have seen the sheep rearing, dairy practice, and we have also met some of the tribal groups and all. Okay. We have seen the farms and all. Are they not related to the backward class and minorities?
All right, Mr. B.R. Yavagal, expanding your horizons, that basically was the big takeaway from that study trip that has been undertaken. We're also looking forward to seeing the report that will ultimately be filed by you and an entire group on what your learnings were on this particular trip. We'll keep track of that story. For the time being, and Pratibha, I'm sure, will be getting us the details of that. For the time being, Mr. Yavagal, really appreciate you joining us. Thanks also to Pratibha Raman, and especially to all our callers. Apologies to those whose calls we could not take on air.